The Galactic Confederation had long been curious about humanity. After their sudden emergence onto the interstellar stage, humans had rapidly expanded, their daring and unpredictability shaking the careful balance of the galaxy. The Confederation decided to investigate the species further, hoping to understand their culture and, more importantly, their methods of war. For this purpose, they selected Commander Zurith, a seasoned tactician from the Kelorian race, known for their disciplined approach to conflict. Zurith's assignment was to tour one of Earth's top military academies to learn about human training practices. Upon arriving on Earth, Zurith was greeted with the kind of ceremonial pomp typical of human diplomacy. At first, the academy seemed like any other military institution Zurith had observed across the galaxy. There were formations of disciplined cadets, instructors barking orders, and advanced training simulators. But as the tour progressed, the commander began to notice strange and unsettling differences. The first shock came when Zurith was introduced to the cadets' training regimen. Humans did not merely teach tactics and strategy, they trained for chaos. In one exercise, cadets were thrown into a simulated battlefield where the rules constantly changed. Environmental conditions shifted, unexpected threats emerged, and even their objectives were altered mid-mission. Zurith was appalled. "This is madness," the commander remarked. "How can you train for unpredictability? War is a matter of order and precision, not disorder." The human instructors simply smiled, explaining that their history had taught them that adaptability was the greatest weapon. The next revelation came in the form of the Academy's Red Team exercises. Human cadets were not only encouraged to think like their enemies, but were actively rewarded for finding and exploiting weaknesses in their own systems. Zurith watched in disbelief as a team of cadets bypassed the Academy's own security protocols to assassinate a simulated leader, all while instructors applauded their ingenuity. In the Kelorian military, such actions would have been considered treasonous. Here, it was celebrated as brilliance. What truly horrified the commander, however, was the humans' emotional approach to warfare. Zurith had always believed that emotion was a weakness on the battlefield. Yet humans seemed to weaponize it. In one lecture, an instructor spoke about the importance of morale, storytelling, and even deception. They described how fear and hope could turn the tide of battle as effectively as any weapon. To demonstrate, the cadets were shown footage of historical battles where underdog forces, vastly outnumbered, had triumphed through sheer determination and clever manipulation of their enemies' perceptions. By the end of the tour, Zurith's unease had grown into outright alarm. The Academy's curriculum culminated in a live simulation where cadets faced off against a holographic enemy fleet. Rather than following their carefully laid plans, the cadets improvised, using unorthodox tactics that no Kelorian officer would ever consider. They jammed their own communications to confuse the enemy, disabled their own ships to create debris fields, and even pretended to surrender to lure their opponent into a trap. When the simulation ended in a decisive human victory, Zurith could only stare in stunned silence. Before departing Earth, Zurith addressed the Academy's leadership. "You train your people for chaos, for defiance, for scenarios that no logical mind would consider. You embrace unpredictability as if it were a virtue. It is no wonder your enemies fear you. They cannot understand you. I came here to learn your methods, but I leave with a greater fear of what humanity might become. You are not like the rest of us. You are something else." As Zurith returned to the Galactic Confederation, the commander carried a report that would send shockwaves through the galaxy. Humanity was not just another species to be studied or assimilated. They were a force unlike anything the universe had ever encountered, relentless, creative, and utterly unpredictable. For the first time in years, Zurith felt the faint stirrings of dread. Humanity's approach to military training stands apart from the structured and predictable methods seen in other advanced civilizations. At the heart of this difference is their emphasis on chaos, adaptability, and unpredictability. Unlike most species that prioritize rigid hierarchies and meticulously rehearsed strategies, humans seem to thrive in the absence of structure. This philosophy is deeply embedded in their training programs, which prepare soldiers not just for battle, but for situations where conventional logic and tactics fail. In their academies, cadets are subjected to training exercises that are intentionally destabilizing. Simulations place them in unpredictable environments, where the rules of engagement are frequently altered without warning. Weather conditions might shift from calm to extreme within moments. Objectives may be changed mid-mission, or unexpected threats may appear out of nowhere. Instructors actively create scenarios that defy planning, forcing cadets to rely on intuition, rapid decision-making, and creative problem-solving. These exercises are designed to simulate the chaos of real-life conflict, where plans often unravel, and survival depends on the ability to adapt in real time. The underlying belief in such training is rooted in human history. Earth's long record of wars and conflicts has demonstrated time and again that rigid strategies often fail when confronted with unexpected variables. Humans have learned that no matter how well a plan is conceived, the realities of the battlefield are unpredictable. This understanding drives them to train not for perfection, but for resilience. They teach their cadets that the ability to pivot and think outside the box is just as important as understanding established doctrines. Another key element of their training is the deliberate creation of stress and pressure. Cadets are often placed in scenarios where they are forced to make critical decisions under intense psychological strain. These exercises are not designed to break them, but to familiarize them with the emotional and mental toll of war. They are taught to compartmentalize fear and focus on their objectives despite overwhelming odds. The rationale behind this is that a soldier who can maintain clarity in the face of chaos is far more effective than one who relies solely on preset instructions. Beyond individual adaptability, humans also emphasize the importance of decentralized decision-making. Unlike many species where lower ranks are expected to follow orders without question, human soldiers are encouraged to think independently. Officers are trained to trust their subordinates to make critical decisions on the ground. This decentralized approach enables human forces to respond to changing situations with remarkable speed and effectiveness, often catching opponents off guard. Their doctrine relies on a balance between strategic guidance and tactical freedom, creating a dynamic and unpredictable force. The result of this philosophy is a military system that thrives in environments where other species would falter. Human soldiers are not just prepared for chaos, they are molded by it. This reliance on adaptability has made them an enigma to other civilizations. Where their counterparts see disorder as a flaw, humans see it as an opportunity to exploit. Humanity's approach to military strategy is not confined to the physical or tactical aspects of warfare. It extends deeply into psychological and creative domains. One of the most striking aspects of their training and operational doctrine is their deliberate emphasis on ingenuity and emotional manipulation as integral components of conflict. Unlike many species that rely purely on superior technology, firepower, or rigid adherence to strategy, humans utilize their intellect and understanding of human and alien psychology to gain an edge in battle. In human military academies, creativity is not just encouraged, but celebrated. Cadets are given problems with no clear solutions and are challenged to come up with innovative ways to achieve their objectives. These exercises often involve finding and exploiting loopholes in established systems, or using unconventional methods to neutralize threats. For example, they might simulate situations where traditional tactics are rendered ineffective, forcing cadets to improvise. Whether it's using their surroundings to create distractions or manipulating adversarial forces into making poor decisions, the goal is to cultivate out-of-the-box thinking. This emphasis on ingenuity extends to real-world operations as well. Human soldiers are trained to view every situation as an opportunity to turn weaknesses into strengths. They are encouraged to think like their adversaries and anticipate their actions. One particularly effective method involves red team exercises, where a portion of the unit acts as the enemy, attempting to outsmart their own side. These exercises are not merely about defense. They are about discovering vulnerabilities in their own systems and using that knowledge to improve. By fostering a mindset of constant adaptation and self-improvement, humans ensure that their forces remain one step ahead of their opponents. Emotional manipulation plays an equally important role in human warfare. Human strategists understand the power of morale, fear, and hope, both for their own troops and for their enemies. They study the psychological impact of warfare and leverage it to achieve their goals. For example, human commanders are trained to use deception and misdirection to confuse their enemies, creating doubt and hesitation that can lead to critical mistakes. They might stage mock retreats to lure enemies into ambushes or spread false information to cause panic and disorder in enemy ranks. These tactics are designed to undermine the enemy's confidence and cohesion, making them more vulnerable to direct attacks. Within their own ranks, humans use storytelling and shared experiences to inspire unity and resolve. They teach their soldiers the importance of a shared purpose and how belief in a cause can fuel perseverance in the face of adversity. This understanding of emotional dynamics allows them to create bonds within their units that are difficult to break, even under the most extreme conditions. At the same time, they study their adversaries' cultural and psychological tendencies to identify points of leverage. Whether through propaganda, subterfuge, or carefully orchestrated displays of strength, humans excel at influencing the emotions and perceptions of their foes, turning these intangibles into powerful tools of war. When alien observers encounter humanity's approach to warfare, they are often left unsettled, not just by their tactics or strategies, but by the philosophical and cultural underpinnings that drive their approach to conflict. For species accustomed to orderly, predictable forms of war, humanity's methods represent a stark departure. What makes this difference so striking and so fear-inducing is the sheer unpredictability and relentlessness of human behavior in the context of warfare. Their ability to adapt, innovate, and persevere against overwhelming odds is deeply unsettling to civilizations that value control and structure above all else. One of the primary factors contributing to this unease is humanity's willingness to defy conventional wisdom. In many advanced societies, war is governed by rules, traditions, and shared understandings that create a level of predictability. Commanders in these civilizations often view conflict as a calculated exchange of moves and countermoves, like a grand game of chess. Humanity, however, rejects these boundaries. They see war not as a structured contest, but as a chaotic struggle for survival, where anything can be leveraged as a weapon. From their ability to turn environmental factors to their advantage, to their penchant for creating entirely new forms of strategy on the fly, humans defy expectations in ways that are difficult to anticipate or counter. This unpredictability is compounded by their unique psychological makeup. Humans possess a remarkable resilience that often borders on irrationality. Where other species might retreat or surrender in the face of insurmountable odds, humans are known to dig in, resist, and even escalate their efforts. They draw strength from adversity, turning desperate situations into opportunities for innovation and defiance. This stubborn persistence is not just a survival trait, it is a tactical weapon. Alien observers frequently note that what seems like human desperation is often a calculated gambit designed to exploit the overconfidence or underestimation of their adversaries. Another factor that unnerves alien civilizations is humanity's willingness to embrace chaos. For species that value stability and order, the idea of intentionally creating disorder as a strategy is deeply alien. Yet humans excel in this arena. They thrive in environments where control is lost, using the unpredictability of chaos to mask their intentions and keep their enemies off balance. In simulated battles observed by alien commanders, human forces routinely abandon conventional tactics in favor of audacious maneuvers that defy logic. They are known to sacrifice short-term gains for long-term advantages, employing feints, misdirections, and even self-imposed disadvantages to manipulate the flow of battle. The emotional intensity that humans bring to warfare is another source of discomfort for alien observers. While many species attempt to minimize the impact of emotions in combat, viewing them as liabilities, humans have mastered the art of weaponizing them. Fear, hope, anger, and determination are not just feelings to be managed, they are tools to be wielded. This emotional volatility makes human behavior inherently difficult to predict, adding yet another layer of complexity to their already bewildering approach to conflict. To many alien observers, this combination of unpredictability, relentlessness, and emotional intensity makes humanity a force that is not only difficult to defeat, but also impossible to fully understand.